Good morning, folks. It's Paul Harrison here on Friday morning. I hope you're all exceedingly well. Let's get into it. The stocks, quite a nice list for the stocks this week, or this Friday, anyway. So no excuses why we can't find trades or anything like that. So we've got the first one that came up was Citigroup, which is C. There was an alert. I see it as being mid-channel. I can't see any other reason really to get into that trade at the moment. Then we have SLCA, Sierra Lima Charlie Alpha. Again, a nice upward trending stock here. If I'm being real strict, I would probably say it's maybe a day or two away from it, or it didn't come right down. There could be some argument for obviously moving it up slightly, but it was touch or go. But again, obviously trading is not a perfect science. SLCA, then we have BAK, B-A-K, Bravo Alpha Kilo. And again, a nice, you see what's good about these folks is so many of these stocks that you can have a look at that have already gone. But the thing is, they've already gone, but because they've already gone, I mean, it shows the strategy is working. So you've got a bounce here, a bounce here, a bounce here, came pretty close here, bounced here as well. Didn't give the perfect entry point, but certainly rocketed off that that resistance line, the upward trending support line there. So that trade is pretty much gone. Then we had CAT, Charlie Alpha Tango. I didn't like this at all. We had this discussion on the webinar. If people are wanting to take three bounces, as in this, and the other one, that is crazy. That's too short term to take those trades. The only time I would take this trade is if it came down to that I would be considering looking at it would be when it came down to 80. So what I would suggest is you maybe put down an alert when it comes down to sort of the $80 mark, $81, and yeah, have a look at it then. But certainly it's got a pretty decent range in it, whether it's there or up to the top. But right now, certainly not. Caterpillar, then we have CKSW. Again, a horizontal stock, maybe a day or two away. It gaps a little bit. It's quite a crazy stock. It can move quite a lot, and as long as you're trading using your money management, that's obviously important there. But it's certainly a very very volatile stock. Again, a tech stock can be quite volatile. Then we have BUS, Bravo Alpha Sierra. Support line, yeah, it's pretty much on that support line right now. If your calculations work out okay on that, then that's one thing. Otherwise, you could look at using a limit order should it sell off slightly to get into that trade. But pretty nicely defined support line. So we had Fran. Again, support line around about the $24 mark, $24.20. It's bounced quite nicely off there. Then we have a resistance line about $29.11. So a pretty decent range there. And if we zoom in, I mean, that is the only way that could be a better entry point is if it had a slightly green up bar, so a slightly green up day. But yeah, not a bad looking situation, that one. Okay, Fran. Then we had VASC. Again, a nicely defined resistance line. The stock sold off aggressively. We're probably a day or two late on that one. Is this one I was discussing the other day? Yes, this was one we were discussing, I think, on the webinar, or was it the Spanish webinar, where there was a slight upward trending resistance. I actually had that as a horizontal stock, but there was something else we were discussing about it. Yeah, well, I forget. But anyway, whoever got into that trade, it's obviously moved quite nicely, but you would have had to have your stop loss at the top here. VASC, then we have APTS. Again, I would say this is mid-range. I'm seeing these bounces coming up here as I've got, but again, it's 8.4. I'd rather have it down on that support line before I was even looking any deeper at taking the trade. Then we have PG. PG, I see obviously we've got some resistance here at around about the 82.70 mark. Procter & Gamble, obviously a very well-known company. I think they're in the Dow Jones top 30 companies. Yeah, you see, I mean, listen, this is where the reality and the theory come to terms with each other. I think you've got a nice line of resistance there, but again, with just a tiny bit of insight. There's obviously the trend has been coming up for a longer term, but I would feel more confident in this trade taking a long position than a short position. But again, according to the rules, you could take the trade. PG. Then we have NRG. Upward trending stock, bounce, came down, put in that third bounce. Anybody who got into that trade is obviously in profit at the moment. It's moved up to get you into the trade. A nice move off that. Then we have Zims. Oh, no, man. Again, all these upward trending stock hits on the support line there, and it's gone as well. It's gone already. Be interesting to see how this goes because it has been a lot higher recently. That was a trade actually we were looking at last week as well, off that entry point. It obviously got us in, but then pulled back as well and got out on the trade. So sometimes the trade's not ready to go straight away. Okay, so we've got a nice upward trending support line here, nice horizontal upward trending resistance line. It has sold off pretty aggressively, but it's done that before as well, and it's put in a slightly up day there as well. So I would be looking at the calculations as far as entry point goes. I mean, it's a pretty big day. Well, doing that, it doesn't look like it is, does it? But yeah, pretty big day. But obviously you're going to have to calculate your ratios there as well. Then we have BIIB. Upward trending stock, bounce, happy days. Yeah, but I would rather have something like that instead of that, but it's not a baddie. Not bad looking. Pretty big stock though by the looks of things. Biogen. Okay, there we go. Then we have MHO, Mike Hotel Oscar. Horizontal support line, 1 bounce, 2 bounces, 3 bounces, coming down for a 4th, potentially. So you have the option there of either using a limit or watching it on the next couple of days and seeing if it gives you a better entry point. And it has been pretty high previously as well. But you're going to have to use that as your stop loss. Interesting. Then we have VSH, Victor Sierra Hotel. Upward trending stock, bounce. Hooray. Yeah, this would be one of those examples of when you've actually set an entry point, because that looks like a pretty nice entry point there, but there's still an entry point which is slightly below the other entry point there, which you could go for. Obviously your stop loss is going to have to be a little bit lower as well, so that will have an impact on your ratios. Then we have BWP. Again, bounce. It's come down, bounced again. Yep. Upward trending resistance line as well. I tell you, more and more of these stocks are coming down to entry points and ratios. because so many of these stocks are looking good. Then we have a BWP, then we have Vale. Downward trending resistance line. Now this is what I would be a little bit aware of, is it's moved up very aggressively. I would not be surprised to see it break that resistance line today. As you can see, previous bounces have all been down days before they've gone down. So it's rallied up there. I would not be surprised. It's a strong rally. It's a strong move up. BTU. Downward trending resistance line. Again, a strong upward day yesterday. Be very careful of those those downward trending stocks that have big up days when they come up to the resistance, and the same with vice versa as well. Then we have SA, which of course is the gold as well. Again, you know my thoughts on trading anything that's commodities linked, or heavily commodities linked anyway. And then we have XRX. Yep, nice upward trending stock, but I didn't see a reason to trade it. Didn't see a reason to trade it right now. It's upward trending, but it's not on the support line, so who knows. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Some great looking stocks. Again, you know, they come in batches, so be selective. Remember, trading's like dating. You don't want to go for anything, just what is the best. And yeah, you'll have a happy life. So all the very best, folks. Hope it's a great weekend. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.